Hi everyone, welcome back. On today's video, we're going to talk about how to pick the perfect pet for you and your family. I'm hoping that you all will go to a shelter of some kind, preferably a kill shelter first to save an animal. And so that's going to be the scenario I use, that you're going to a shelter to try and find the perfect pet for you. Because there are millions, and I mean millions, hundreds of millions of pets in shelters all over the world that need homes, and really good pets. And so I hope that's where you're going to go. So when you do, if you are a family, you should go as a family to try and find the right pet. It should not be one person in the family finding the pet. Now, once that pet comes into the home, it may be more inclined to be with one person than the rest, which is fine because all animals will do that. But especially with dogs, dogs are about packs. They're about their family unit. So they need to meet everyone and be with everyone. And I say this because I know a lot of people will go get one and give it to someone as a gift. Unfortunately, I'm not big on that unless the person has already met the pet, and then you kind of make arrangements after the fact. Because it's really, really important to have that energetic connection, that you have that contract with that pet. You know, we have soul contracts with animals, with pets, with dogs, because dogs come to help us. They come to mirror us. They come to express to us what we need to know. And we're going to talk about that in other videos on how to understand that and work with that within the pet. But for now, let's talk about finding the pet. Go to a shelter. You know, I found my Sammy in the Palm Beach County shelter, which is a kill shelter in West Palm Beach, Florida. And the only reason I say that it's a kill shelter is because they have the ability to put the dogs to sleep. I love Palm Beach County because they do everything they can to get their dogs adopted. They really do. They hold events. You know, it's not just a place where you come and dump and in the hopes that someone comes out to find the animal. They are really forward in trying to get pets home. And so in those types of shelters, there are lots of dogs. When I went to find my Sammy, there were 150 dogs. Actually, let me rephrase that. There were more, because there were 150 crates. And not little crates, like big cages, you know. And some doubled up, and in the very small dog area, you could have 5, you know, to one of the very large units they were staying in. So there, and any dog you could imagine would be there. Any dog you could imagine. From little Yorkies to Great Danes. You name it, anywhere in between. And of course, go with an open mind. You know, don't go with the intention, like I did when I was looking for Sammy. My intention was to get a pocket dog. And I didn't get a pocket dog because my heart told me otherwise. My heart told me why I was there. But, so don't go with intention. Don't go with any idea of what you're going to have. Now, if you live in a, you know, if you live in a condo and the restrictions are 20 pounds, then of course, you know, you're going to say, well, I can't have a dog over 20 pounds. But if you have a home with a yard and kids, this is like the best scenario for having the best dog and giving one of those beautiful creatures a second chance. So when you go, typically, when you go to a county shelter, you know, you go down a hall, you look in all the cages, you can put your finger in and, you know, see if the pet likes you. everyone should just go down, and not everybody go off and do their own thing, especially if you're a family. You should go to each cage together so that that animal, so that that dog can resonate with both energies at the same time to see if that's a good fit. See, because this is what happens. People go, as humans, we're very visual people, and then our hearing, and then our touch. But do you see how I did 3 different senses at separate times? Dogs don't do that. Dogs use all of their senses at the same time all the time. So they're going to use all their senses to determine if we're right for each other. And you go by what the dog does. Go, you know, pay attention to the dog, even if it's a timid dog, even if it's a wounded dog. If there's a recognition that we could be a good match, you will see movement in a wounded animal. You will see that connection. And it's okay to just, you know, keep going down and take note of the ones you feel connected to. And then go back around after you've gone through all of the dogs. Go back around to the ones that you felt that connection with. That there seemed to be a mutual connection. Not one where you go in and, oh, you're so cute, I want you. Not that. The best connection is the one that's on both sides. And that every family member feels a connection to. You know, if 3 out of 4 people are connected and one is not, and there is a distinct disconnect, do not bring that dog into your home. Because those are the dogs that wind up going back because they're not a good fit. So let's prevent the dog from going back to the shelter. We never want an animal in a shelter, let alone having to go back to one. We want the perfect fit right away. And it's easy to do. If you just go in with an open heart and an open mind and no preconceived ideas of what to expect, you're going to find the most amazing animal for you and your family. And the most amazing dog will resonate with you. When I went to find Sammy, which I didn't know I was going to find Sammy, but I, as an animal communicator, just woke up one morning and knew I had to go to this particular shelter, that there was a dog there for me. And truly, let me tell you, I was not looking. I even kind of second guessed that morning because my dog had just passed the evening before. And I was in no way, shape, or form, I thought, ready to have another animal. I was going to wait a week or 2. I mean, I knew I would get a pet, but I wanted to give myself a little mourning time, if you would. Well, apparently the world, the universe had different plans for me. So when I went, 3rd cage on the right, there he was. And I knew he was it. I knew he was it. But I forced myself to walk all the way around, all 150 cages of them, to make sure. And I did that for myself because I was mourning. I wanted to make sure that what I was feeling was right. And truthfully, I was like, oh, you're beautiful. I'm really feeling that. I really want a small dog. So that was me. But I still did the right thing by going around to all the other cages to make sure that there was no other connections there. And of course I came right back around and said, okay, let's go see how we get along. And we went out and played for a while. And that's another important aspect. At all the shelters, they have rooms or outside fenced in areas where you can take the dog and get to know it. And when you do that, number one, do not pounce on the dog. Do not be all over the dog. You go and you sit down. And you let the dog come to you. You let the dog walk around. You let the dog pee. You let the dog sniff. You let the dog do whatever it needs to do. Because remember, it's been cooped up in that cage for a very long time. And even if they've only been in that cage a day, if they're not used to being in a cage or in any kind of crate system, that's traumatic. So let them have some freedom. Everybody, and get down on their level, sit on the floor, sit on the ground, and sit on the grass, and let the dog go do its thing, and watch the dog come back. And you can talk to the dog while it's off doing its thing. You know, say, what kind of name do you like? You know, is Sally really your name? You know, Sammy didn't have a name when I got him, and I heard something close to that. I believe it was like Sandy. So I didn't like that name, so I chose something similar too. And that's what you want to do as well. If you ever change a dog's name, and you know what the original name was, and for some reason you don't like that name, one, depending on the age of the dog, don't change it. Keep the name that they're used to. Two, when I got Sammy, he was 10 months old. A dog under 2 will shift. Meaning if you get a name similar, so like his name was Sandy and I showed Sammy, that was so similar that it was very easy for him to just assimilate quickly. So that's what you want to do. So if the name is, you know, Bob, and you don't like Bob, you know, I can't even think of something close to Bob, but you will. But you get the point. You know, just pick something close to it that fits you, fits the dog. Again, this is not about you, this is about the dog. So something that fits the dog and fits the dog's personality. You know, if I actually know of a dog named Bob who has a very tough exterior. And to me, that a dog named Bob is kind of like he's going to bob at you. And he looks like that, but he's a sweetheart. So it's like I would have picked a different name for him, but that seemed to fit that family dynamic. So whatever fits your family dynamic. And it's going to be easy to say, and it's going to be easy for the dog to understand, and it needs to have 1 to 2 syllables. Preferably 2 syllables instead of 1. Only because dogs hear sound, not necessarily words. What they get is when we as humans start to say something, we have to have a thought first and then the words come out. And so as we're having that thought, our dog telepathically is connecting to what it is we're going to say. That's how they know what we're saying. But when you're training a dog, the words you use to train a dog are typically 1 syllable. Stop, go, sit, stay, walk, stop. Now, some people will tell me that they're like, oh, no, because when I get ready to take my dog to bed, I say, okay, let's go to bed, and my dog knows exactly what we're going to do. So he knows what I'm saying. Well, yeah, because telepathically he knows what you're saying. But the word you're saying is bed that he recognizes. Do you want to go to bed? That one word, doesn't matter what you say with it, they're hearing that word bed. And they know telepathically, because your thoughts are, literally, your thoughts are to go to bed. So they get up and they get ready to go. So